Very good evening to everyone. So here we are on the 15th episode of Scale Up, Skill and Learnings. Just taking you all with a little flashback as usual. Okay, so it's more than halfway. So out of 21 weeks, 15th week is going on. We have already completed two-thirds of the journey. And I'm sure this is really helping all of us. With the beginning, and this whole event is actually covered, and media partner is with Business Line. Tatwa Talk is just doing the creative part, and back end support. Everything is being done by them. And we, as a group of financial advisors, MFDs, are actually enjoying and learning with whatever is shared. So Ramdev Agarwal ji, S. Naren, Anil Singhvi, Namit Munot, and Mahesh Patil initiated the first event. The second event was with Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai, sharing the concepts of how one can become more rich. And then we had the Dean of ICFI Business School with our MFDs from different parts of the country. Then we had another episode on Bollywood movies, how we can learn and what we can learn. Another session was on Life is a Celebration along with intellectual property laws. I think that was really interesting, and a lot of us actually got benefited out of this. Then the next generation, which is coming into the business, which was episode 6, wherein all the volatility coaches, their next generation, they are into this business, and what they are doing and why they are into this business was shared. This was really one of the most liked episode. On fundamental analysis, we had our volatility coach Varun Bihag and Shailesh. And during the Navratras, we had our 9 volatility coaches also presenting their part of story as how they are doing this distribution business. Niche marketing with Nitin, Colonel Sanjeev, and Eric was also really appreciated. MFDs, RIAs, or what? This was one of, again, a very, very popular and one of the most shared session, because this was the need of the hour. Again, for students and for youth, this session was again really liked, appreciated, and continuously it is being watched on YouTube now also. Episode 12 was with our volatility coaches who are also into stockbroking. Again, today is a little connect with this episode because again, stockbroking next level is international stockbroking. So this is there. And then we had an episode which was on how to deal with HNIs and ultra HNIs. 4 of our MFD friends, volatility coaches, they shared their stories, their experiences, how they are dealing with the ultra HNIs. Last week, the session was focused on succession planning, and our MFD friends also shared their ideas. So let's see what was all about, and let's have a little recap.
और जैसा कि होता है कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जब बढ़ती है तो आदमी सोचता है कि फ्यूचर में कुछ अच्छा करने के लिए सो दैट बच्चों का फ्यूचर बहुत अच्छा रहे. सो दे थॉट ऑफ स्टार्टिंग देयर ओन कंसल्टेंसी फर्म.
कई बार मैंने देखा कि अगर क्लाइंट के जो इच्छा के विपरीत आप अपने आइडिया को थोपते हो क्लाइंट के ऊपर, तो उसमें स्ट्रेंथ जल्दी नहीं मिलती. पहले क्लाइंट का ट्रस्ट जीतने के लिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप उसके आइडिया को भी सुनो, और कई बार उसके आइडिया पे हमें जानना चाहते हुए काम करना पड़ता है, और फिर उसको रियलाइज कराते हैं कि उसका आइडिया गलत था और फ्यूचर में वो हमारी बात मानता है.
जो उनके बेटे का पोर्टफोलियो था उसके रिटर्न्स बहुत अच्छे थे क्योंकि वहाँ पे इक्विटी ज़्यादा था, और जो पिताजी का पोर्टफोलियो था उसमें थोड़े डायनामिक फंड थे, उसमें डेट था, तो उनके पोर्टफोलियो रिटर्न कम थे. तो देन द सन वाज आस्किंग मी प्रणव, इनके रिटर्न इतने कम क्यों है? तो मैंने उनसे सिंपल कहा कि सर, क्या आपको कभी चाहिए कि आपके पिताजी जो जब आप फॉर्म लेके जाओगे और पूछेंगे कि भाई इसकी वैल्यू क्या है, डू यू वांट टू शो हिम अ लॉस? नो, द आंसर वाज नो.
So that communication I heard when he want to invest some money for his trust. He gave me a call. Ajay, when can we meet? Went and met him, gave a presentation to the trustees, and Eventually, they become my client. And then later, he also referred former Attorney General to me for buying bonds, HP bonds. So that's the power of communication. So whether someone is your client or not, but keep interacting with them.
Another conviction के अलावा और 4 जो C है, that is choice, chance and change and courage. So if you have the conviction, first make the choice to take the chance. If you want anything to change, for that you have courage.
हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की बहुत ज़्यादा डिमांड है, तो टॉपअप पॉलिसी अगर हम कॉर्पोरेट्स में ऑनलाइन मीटिंग्स के थ्रू टॉपअप पॉलिसी की बात करें, क्योंकि टॉपअप पॉलिसी बहुत सस्ती पॉलिसी है, तो उसके थ्रू क्लाइंट के घर में घुसने का मकसद पूरा हो जाता है अपना। प्लस अगर कोई क्लाइंट नया इन्वेस्टमेंट भी नहीं करना चाहता, तो उसको जब हम बारीक तरीके से उसका डिस्कशन करते हैं, तो कहीं ना कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें मिलती हैं जहाँ वो फंसा हुआ होता है।
So here we are on the 15th episode, and today we have with us some global investment gurus. Most of them born and brought up in India, but they are NRIs. Prashant ji, who is a very good friend from Rotary also. He is a Canadian citizen, settled in Canada for, I think, more than 20, 30 years now. And he's also again a person who has been quite extensively traveling and doing planning for children as far as the foreign thing is concerned, how people can actually settle outside India, how people can have citizenship across the globe. And along with him today we have Mr. Himashu, who is based out in Singapore, and he is co-founder of Kristal, which I think he will be talking about and how that platform is actually useful. And then Sitashwa, who is the founder and CEO of Stockol, USA, which is again a platform where people can buy stocks at NASDAQ or maybe all the stocks which is listed on US. Today, Grant is was supposed to be there. He is not well, so I think we'll have to excuse that Grant is not going to be present, but we will be sharing his video with all of you so that probably you can have a message. He is again a master in practice management. He has authored a book also, and it is really amazing to listen to a personality like Grant. And today's session, one more thing I would like to mention, that we will also have Mr. Because this is also there. Today we have also partnered with TPF, which is again a Kolkata-based professional organization with them. So I'll just, before we begin, may I request Mr. Ashok Gulgulia, if he is there, yeah. So I'll just unmute him to just say a few words. Ashok ji, please unmute yourself. Okay, and just say a few words before we just start the session.
Thank you, Kanakji, and welcome to all joining for scaling of this skill and this global investment program, how we can improve upon our skills regarding this investment and what are the best practices we can adopt for investment. That is what we would like to learn and hear from investment gurus who are here with us, Prashant, Ajmera ji, Himashu, Gupta ji, Srivastava ji. So we would like to listen and learn what we can have from them. So all are welcome to this session. And request all you to listen and learn.
Okay. So thank you, Ashok ji. And now we move further. So the first person to welcome is Mr. Prashant Ajmera, and he is the founder of Ajmera Law Group and also an organization which is also doing investments internationally. Mostly he is a person who has been who has helped and who has been instrumental for, I think, thousands of people for creating the immigration for Canada and various other European countries, how people can have dual citizenship, because we had a few sessions with him in past also. Maybe he can touch on those lines also today, and followed by him, we will have rest of the speakers. So over to you, Prashantji, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. Look forward to learn from you.
Thank you. So, okay, let me share the screen, and I'm going to do it here, and that's it. Thank you very much, Kanakji, for giving this opportunity to speak to your sessions again. For 21 weeks, you are sitting there and organizing these sessions. It's really amazing. And thank you for all the attendees joining these sessions. Global Investment Advisory. And our tagline is foreign investment zaruri hai. So generally, when we talk about the finance at this kind of a forum, whether it's online and offline, we always talk about the return on investment or ROI. And when we talk about the foreign investments, we have certain preconceived notion in our head that foreign investment, what is it? In the current market, oh, we do it for only for a higher returns. If you want to do it, you do the global investment. Ticket size is too big. Foreign investment, you can do it, but in the foreign instrument, but it is available in rupee to rupee. Oh, well, India gives a good returns. Why we should invest, bothering about investing into the foreign securities or stock markets or any financial instrument. The number 5 is it's too complicated, lack of knowledge. So with these are all the 6, 7 different, 8, 10 different reasons are there where we live in India in financial market, and we are confused about always the foreign investment advisory. And whenever we hear the investment, we always talk about the higher returns. But today I'm going to talk to you about the investment advisory, and particularly the global investment advisory, from a completely different perspective. And that different perspective is related to your clients and your HNI clients, each one of them. So let me just start my presentation with the 2007 and 8. 2007 and 8 was the year in which the government of India come up with the regulations, the 2 types of regulations: overseas direct investment, because the Indian citizens, the Indian companies were allowed to make an investment out of India, and they can set up a business and they can do a joint ventures, create a subsidiary company, all these things they can do it. At the same time, the liberalized remittance schemes, or popularly known as LRS scheme, was introduced by the Indian government in India, whereby the Indian citizen can now remit or invest money out of India. So we see the 2 types of group of people who has now chance after 2008 to make an investment outside India. So as a company, you can make an investment outside India, or as an individual, you can make an investment, or you can remit the money for some kind of an expenses, which could be child education, your foreign holidays, it could be buying some luxury goods, destination weddings, all these kinds of things you can do it. And we know from this that as per the RBI data, in the last 6 years, the Indian companies made an investment of about $6-7 billion, right up to the $13 billion. And you know that when it comes to the Indian multinational companies, big companies who are making an investment outside, they are obviously very well served by the banks, financial institutes, law firms, chartered accountant, professionals, and probably they give them a red carpet welcome when they Tata or Ambani's or Adani's or these big companies wants to make an investment outside of India. The whole panel of professionals could be available to serve them. That's what we are not going to talk about it. Obviously, we're going to talk about the individual Indian citizen, because that's what we serve as a financial advisors or a financial professionals. So in the last 12 years, as per the RBI data, if we look at it, started in 2007, 6 and 7, the outside remittance or investment was about a $72 million. It's gone all the way up to almost $19 million last year, $19 billion outside. But in doing this, what we have realized, if we analyze this data further, what we learn and what we realize is that out of the $19 billion, the $10 billion are being invested by the Indian parents for the child's foreign educations and their living expenses in foreign country. And the second biggest expenses we did it was traveling abroad, up to $7 billion. So you can see that out of the $19 billion, almost $17 billion were remitted out of India as an expenditure. That means the Indian citizens, Indian HNIs, Indian parents, whatever we call it, they are remitting big amount of money. And they are investing very little. Deposit, property, debt equity. If you put all these three things together, which is there here in the blue box, it's not even $1 billion. So basically, the 19 billions Indian citizens have spent more money than what the Indian multinational company has invested out of India. But it is an expense, it's not an investment. So what effect it gives to? That we will just put it on a side, but just wanted to give you a background. When we do the financial plannings, as you guys do the financial plannings for your clients, you do the expansion of a business, you do it for the real estate investment, portfolio diversification, tax planning, and estate planning. And what are the three basic goals are there of your client? Obviously, children's education, which could be in India or outside India, quality of life, and a retirement. These are the three broad goals your client wish to achieve. But comparing the data which we just saw, now you can see that before 2008 and after 2000, there is a big difference in the lifestyles of the Indian citizens. Now they are spending money on international investment, they're spending money on holidays. Highest number of money is being spent by the Indian parents on the children's educations. Probably they are having a second home out of India, destination weddings, and also they are trying to take the business out of India as well. So now what is happening is that in India, this HNI clients, your clients, are earning in India but spending it abroad. They are earning the money in India in rupees but spending it abroad. In doing this one, now what is happening? Are we doing probably the right financial planning? Do we need to look at the other options? I think the answer is yes. In the next 2-3 slides, you will see the answer. Obviously, one of the top things talk about the investment outside by the big banks who are offering the foreign mutual funds, who are offering the foreign funds, that the return on those investment is higher than India. Return on investment is very higher. But unfortunately, nobody has looked at this data, which I just discussed with you. And particularly, nobody has looked into the position of this exchange rate. If you are in an import-export business, you will do a hedging of the fund. But when you are an individual, you are not doing a hedging of the fund. So what you should do it? If you look at it, this foreign exchange rupee against the dollars, in 2008, the dollar was 49 rupees, whereas now it is almost at the 74, 75 rupees. That means the dollar has become quite strong against the rupee. So if you had 5 crore rupees in 2008, it could have bring you about almost equivalent to a 1 million US dollar. But without doing anything, just because the dollar has become strong, now from 1 million or 10 lakhs dollars, it's reduced to 6.5 lakhs dollar or 653,594. So that means almost you lost 35% of your buying power. Your buying power of your rupee has changed. And if this buying power is keep on changing it, don't you think that it would be advisable that the Indian citizens, Indian HNIs, Indian parents who are exposed to the foreign educations, holidays, destination weddings, purchasing the things, having a lifestyles in the foreign countries, that they should start investing into foreign dollars and they can earn into a foreign dollars rather than continuously converting rupee to dollar or rupee to sterling pounds or rupee to euro. Not only that, when it comes to an education, the another big aspect which we see is that there is a rise in the cost of education. So whatever you are doing the planning here in India, you always have to keep continuing topping up your saving more and more. Reason being, because now dollar is getting stronger, the education is getting expensive. So what the parents needs to do? Well, probably they have planned right now for 3 crore rupees, but 10 years down the road or 12 years down the road, when child is ready to go to America, well, now you don't need a 3 crore rupees, probably you will need a 4 or 5 crore rupees. What would you do? Unless if you have made the plan to invest into a foreign, different kinds of an asset class, which I'll just talk to you in briefly as well, that will be very, very easy. If you go for a holidays, probably you want to take a one holiday every year or every other year in a foreign country. Wouldn't it be nice that you don't have to transfer any money from India? You go to America, probably stay for 15 days or 1 month, come back for a holiday, but your investment has earned you enough money in America. So when you come back to in India, probably you have brought certain money back. And that is the kind of a ease of investment we wanted to bring it to you. And the two speakers who are next to me will talk to you that it is not that complicated. It's not that complex to make an investment out of India into USA or into Europe or in this one. Because of the technology, the various kind of platforms are available whereby you can make your investment sitting here in your office or in your home as if you are doing it locally. The question is, have a little bit of an understanding of this kind of different products and how you can make an investment and what you can do it. So in combined effect of this dollar getting stronger and the things becoming an expensive, education becoming an expensive in foreign countries, your $1 million in 2008 is almost reduced to like half the size. Your buying power is reducing. Your buying power is reducing, and that will require continuously that you have to top up your investment portfolio in doing it. So as a financial planners, when you now next time meet your clients with probably husband and wife or a family, one of the questions now you want to ask them is, sir, are you interested in sending your children for a higher study abroad? Are you going to take the foreign holidays? Are you going to have a destination wedding? A long-term planning, probably it may not be coming something like. Are you be interested in having some properties or some investment outside India? This would be an additional question you need to ask your clients when you do the financial planning with them, because now the Indian government, RBI, Reserve Bank of India, allows each Indian citizen to make an investment out of India up to 250,000 US dollar just by going to the bank. Obviously, there are certain restrictions are there that in certain kinds of an investment you cannot do it. But when it comes to the stock market, real estate, bonds, funds, mutual funds, ETFs, you can make an investment. And because of the double taxation treaties between the major countries like America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, European countries, if you pay a tax in that country, you will get a due credit here. You're not going to pay the tax double. Just question is, we do not have this enough knowledge. Even if you go to a Indian government website of the tax department and say, for example, you have made an investment into an America and they have done a withholding tax, which we call it a TDS in India, you can show that documents and take a credit in India with your tax return. So things are not that complicated when it comes to the process. It's just question of having the knowledge. Also, when we meet as a financial professional in India, we always talk about our local market. But one of the message which I wanted to give you is that now it's a high time that we are the last country in the world whereby we have never looked at the other markets out of India. So there is a more than one market than just a stock exchange. If we look at the slides from the first global, Mr. Shankar Sharma, we have this indices called DOLX 30. That means the 30 top companies of India are put into this context. And this graph measures the earning of these 30 top Indian companies in US dollars. Over the period of time in this 13 years, which we are talking about, when the liberalization started, what was the net return in dollars term? It was almost zero, 4226 to 4260. That means, yes, in Indian terms, as an individual, you might have made up good money, but collectively, when we look at it, and particularly your buying power in an international terms, when you are spending your money for your children, when you are spending your money for your holidays, when you are spending money for buying a luxury goods, destination weddings, I'm repeating again and again, converting the rupee, earning in a rupee, investing into a rupee and spending in a dollar is not a good idea. It's always we have to look at it. Not all the investment needs to go out of India. Probably, depending on the money you wish to spend out of India, 20%, 30%, you wish to put it. So as Kanakji mentioned, I'm a lawyer by profession, a Canadian citizen, and involved into the second passport or residency and citizenship by investment practice. But when I met in the last 5 to 6 years, number of parents, when I met them, I started realizing that the kind of mistakes they are making, that they are coming to us only at a point in time when the child has just finished the 12th grade, the child has just finished the bachelor's degree. They are not doing the long-term planning for the child's foreign educations, that's number one. And when they need dollars, they just go to the banks, convert the money. And that is also financially is not a good decision, not a good way to look at it, as I explained you in this one. So that started giving us an idea and thought to me that what can we do? They offer the variety of services to the Indian investors who want their children to study abroad, who are interested in investing abroad for a higher returns, investment into a real estate, and so on and so forth. So in that respect, we try to bring the 4 different asset class. We set up a new company, Ajmera Capital, which was just launched 2 weeks back, which was also launched by the speakers and the CEO of the London Stock Exchange, one of the subsidiary company, Mr. Robert Barnes came, and he launched the Ajmera Capital portals. So we are giving under the Ajmera Capitals a 4 asset class for the Indian HNIs who are interested in investing out of India to make it easy, not complicated, but make it easy. Obviously, the first one is where I come from is residency and citizenship by investment. Why? Because if you want your child to study abroad, then the residency and citizenship could be one of the ideal way, because your child will become a local student rather than a foreign student. And if your child becomes a local student, your fees for your child would be reduced anything between 50 to 80%. And that is the main reason the HNIs, not only in India, but around the world, are taking the residency and citizenship of another country. Is first is the children's educations, their welfare, and then obviously the quality of life and a retirement. Obviously, at the same time, we realize that number of parents in India, for a variety of reasons, are not interested in residency and citizenship by investment, or they cannot do it. They wish to do it, but they cannot do it. So what we started advising them was to make an investment for the reason which we just mentioned to you before, the currency exchange rate, the education is becoming inexpensive. So have an investment into a global real estate. If you are not interested into that one, look into now the global stock market, whether it could be in America, whether it could be in Canada, whether it could be in European countries like London. And now because of the technologies, it is possible to do an investment into this stock market directly. And that's what we are interested in. That's what the Himashu and Sitash is going to talk about, is the two different platforms they have it. Both are Indian made, both are fintech companies, but they have come up with the excellent ideas whereby the Indian HNIs, Indian citizens can just by click of a button, few clicks, they can make an investment into this ones. So the Sitash, the Stockol company is giving you a direct access to the New York stock market or American stock market as if you are opening a local demit accounts. Obviously, he's going to talk more about that. The second one is the Kristal. Many of you might have already heard about, is a portfolio management services if you wish to make the investment outside. And why we have these two companies with us today to speak? Because if you wanted to make an investment and if you go to regularly to a bank, Citibank, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, they are always interested in a big ticket. Or if you are making an investment of $500,000, then only we will talk to you, then only you can open an account and then we will manage your portfolio. The second one is that there are a lot of foreign funds are there out there who are interested. Again, they are going after the big ticket size, number one. Number two, try yourself personally, go to your bank and say that I wanted to transfer $5,000 or $10,000 in my bank account in America. And you will have you have to provide a lot of documents before you can transfer. And many of us are also aware that when it comes to the FEMA rules and regulations, RBI's guidelines on remitting the money outside, we have a very stringent and strict law today. So to make all these things easy, that means bringing the investment size from a big ticket size to the lower size, as low as like a $5,000 or $10,000. That is now possible with these two platforms, number one. Number two, it is a whole integrated process. That means if you have a bank account with one of these leading banks, you can do your whole transactions without moving out of your office or a home. And that's the beauty of it. And the fourth asset class, what we're talking about is the global business or a startup. If you are not interested in any of this one, but still you want to take your company out of India, probably wanted to do a subsidiary or joint venture companies somewhere out of India, that is possible. And that can be done. So under the Ajmera Capital, we provide this 4 different asset class in a variety of ways to our HNIs, making it easy and simple to do it. So just to give you a overview of next 3 to 5 minutes is about the Ajmera Capital. It's a very simple website. We have tried to make it, but we tried to structure it in a way that if you go under the Global Investment Advisory, it is a straight away all the asset class are there. US stocks, click here. Portfolio management, click here. If you are interested in investing into the several stock market of the world, just click here and you can open a bank account there. So your account right there. Second, passport. That's residency and citizenship if you want to consult. That's the global real estate again and startup going global. So these are the 6 or 7 different asset class or subclass we have created that can be done by click of a button. And if you want an advisory before you decide and you want to do it, obviously that we do it as well. Obviously, we understand that this is the new paradigms and the new things in India. Obviously, we need to share a knowledge with our experience, whatever we have it. We try to share our knowledge with the financial professionals, chartered accountants, lawyers here in India. The global news, global investing links, Bombay Stock Exchange. Now I'm regularly writing in articles in the Bombay Stock Exchange, forum magazines, forum views. I'm sure that many of you must be aware of it, that where we are writing an article about in each country that how is the financial market in that country, how is the real estate market is in that country, what you can make an investment into that one. So we're writing a series of articles that you can come here and look at it. Obviously, with my 28 years of an experience, I've written 2 books. One is a Millionaires on the Move. Second one is on the how to plan for your child's foreign education. That book is there as well. So if you are interested, you can just go to the link, just submit your detail, and you can download the book for free. These 2 books are available. Otherwise, both are available on Amazon. If you want a paper copy on Amazon and on the Google Play, it is available. But you can get both this book from here as well, free of charge. Uh, Obviously, if you are interested in associating with us, we can talk further. And if you wish to offer these services continuously, we are getting connected with the number of. So if you think that this makes a sense, that this is the kind of a client you have it, and if you want to bring this advisory practice to your clients, we'll be more than happy to talk to you, but obviously in the private, separately on this one. So that being said, I think I've taken enough time and try to give you the basic understanding about that why the global investment is necessary. इसलिए that's why our tagline is foreign investment zaruri hai. I know we all of us were talking about 20 years back that mutual fund is kind of a chit fund and what is going to happen. And now you know that with the proper education, proper knowledge which is passed on to the investors and to the financial professionals like yourself, the market is booming like anything when it comes to the mutual fund. Similarly, the way in which the $19 billion are being remitted, can we convince our clients that do not remit it, let's start investing it for you? And that's the message we want to take it across, because remember that the mutual fund market, what is there today, it's a 5% or 6% of that market is this foreign investment which the Indian parents has done it in the children's education, and we all know that it's going to continue. Believe me, I've done these presentations to the financial professionals in the last 2 years, number of places. When I finish my presentations, I've always been approached by at least a few financial planners themselves that Mr. Ajmera, wish you would have met us before. Probably we could have done a better financial planning for our children's foreign educations and so on. So I believe personally that there is a lack of knowledge in this type of an area when it comes to the global investment advisory. We do not wish to talk about the big amount of money and big things. We are talking about the HNIs, high net worth individuals who are in their individual capacity wish to make an investment abroad. And if they do not wish to do anything, they just want to make the investment for having a better returns on their investments, certainly they can do it as well. But I think this is a very important arguments which we have to bring across to ultimately to our investors or to our clients, that why the foreign investment zaruri hai. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Kanakji, once again, thank you to you and your forum. And thank you to all the attendees coming out on this Saturday afternoon and listening to me for almost 30 minutes. Thank you. I think Kanakji will do the Q&A after the 2 other presentation.
Yes. One thing, friends, while Mr. Ajmera was speaking, it is not about we want to invest or not. It is about, there are many clients, they are anyway investing. Okay. People from outside India, in some of the other episode also, we have also experienced that people from outside India are coming and reaching out to the HNIs and they are actually making them invest. Why not we do that? Great. Okay, I think the collaboration is the key. If you are collaborating with right people, whether you are doing it for a general insurance, whether you are doing it for international stock broking, stock buying, or maybe anything. So I think it is very, very important to collaborate and do certain things. And I think whether it is Mr. Prashant Ajmera or anyone, the important thing is one should collaborate, understand the thing, and then take it further. I think that is the purpose of the whole program, so that we understand how important this whole thing can be. Okay, over to you, Ajmera.
Right. So the next speaker, I think Srivastava. His company name is Kristal. In the last 2.5 years, made a big mark on the Indian fintech companies. And his two major partners who has joined a hand with them is, I think every one of us know, the HDFC Bank and Motilal Oswal. Their platform is so simple and straightforward when it comes to investing into the US stock market that you do not see a difference whether you are investing into a BSE or NSE. Means NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. And that's what Sitash has done it with his platform, the Stockal company. And the next one, that one is Himashu. I'll do his introduction after. So Sitash, its floor is yours. Please just take us through your journey and explain to us your platforms. Probably you want to explain the steps involved, that how the process has become seamless for an Indian investors when it comes to investing out of India, from India to New York stock market directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ajmera. Thank you, Kanakji, for inviting. This is a great audience. I can see the numbers, and it's a very apt audience as well to sort of talk about what we are doing here. Just to clarify, the company name is Stockal. Kristal is a great company, and Himashu from Kristal will talk about Kristal just after this. But before we get there, I'll talk a little bit about Stockal. And yeah, like Mr. Ajmera said, Stockal is working with HDFC, Motilal Oswal, Geojit, and various brokerage firms in India to bring US investing to Indian investors in a very seamless manner. And I also have a deck that I will get into in a moment. But just to sort of give an intro on how we arrived at this. So actually, Stockal started as a US based product for American retail investors who did not have the sophistication to understand where to make investments. So they were looking for research platforms and investment insights and advice and stuff like that. But then the best research platforms like Bloomberg Terminal and Reuters, Icon, etc. are very expensive. On the other side, there are thousands of stock tracking apps, and there is media and news and social media and whatnot. So people in the US also tend to get lost when it comes to making investing decisions and finding out ideas like where to invest in. So our first product we created was for the US retail investors. We sort of created like a poor man's Bloomberg terminal, if you may, like on a mobile app. Insights and ideas, personalized, would come to you, and you could also trade on the product. So just import a brokerage account from anywhere, from Fidelity to Charles Schwab or E-Trade or Morgan Stanley, Robinhood, जिसका भी नाम हम लोग सुनते हैं आजकल, all brokers in one app, and you could just trade on Stockal on our mobile app itself with all the insights and ideas that we were generating for you. But this was 2017, 2018. As we got into 2018, 19, towards the end of 2018, we started getting a lot of requirement from Indian investors who were actually looking to invest overseas. And they used to come and ask us, can we use your product to invest outside of India, much like the American investors are using? And initially, we didn't feel that there may be enough of a requirement. So as a startup, you tend to focus on one thing at a time. So we said, we sort of ignored the chatter, so to say. But as we waited for it a little bit more, a lot of people started asking us about it. And big brokers also started talking about it as well, that what if we want to enable US investing for our customers? And that's when we sort of said, okay, this is getting to a point where it is probably a very large opportunity as far as individual investors are concerned. And that's when we brought it to India. We sort of built a new model for Indian investors investing overseas. And then we built the whole partnership ecosystem around it to sort of take it to market. And that's when we ended up partnering with HDFC and then subsequently with other brokerage firms as well. So the way we've built the product is keeping the retail investor in mind. End of the day, somebody should be able to open an account, send money and trade very, very easily, seamlessly. It should be very simple and straightforward. But we've also kept the partner ecosystem in mind, the partner who's enabling the investor to come to the platform. So be it an advisor, be it a broker, the entire tracking of investors' behavior on the platform is very seamless. Pricing options are multiple, and over a period of time, new products are also getting added to it. And now we're very serious about this market. We've actually seen, and just start a small presentation. It will probably take only 10 minutes. But I'll show you some data in terms of what people have actually done, and you will see how people are actually investing from India overseas, and therefore how large this opportunity will become in the next 1 or 2 years. I'll just share my screen. So yeah, overseas investing from India. I'll skip the first few slides because the story always starts with why you should invest and stuff like that. This we are a partner of Nasdaq, and one fine day they put out on the Times Square billboard, they put Stockol when we did the partnership, so we're sort of proud about it. Mr. Ajmera has addressed this very well, why people should invest. We love the idea of diversity, and this has been covered very nicely along with currency and stuff like that, so I'll skip it. One thing for sure is that other than the fact that not investing in the US market or in global markets can be harmful, the fact is that the market has given tremendously good returns also over the last 20-30 years, and in many ways global returns or US returns specifically are actually better than Indian returns. So just for sophisticated investors especially, it's an important thing to consider that by not investing overseas, one is actually missing out on an opportunity which is just not available locally. I'll dive right into the Stockal platform, and so what we've actually seen is like this says, over 1,600 crore rupees have been transacted just in 2020 by Indian investors on the Stockal platform, and every month now we are seeing over close to $45 million being transacted on the platform. That's almost 350-400 crore rupees every month. So the interest is serious. And to just give you an example, yesterday a company called Airbnb went IPO, and a couple of days before that another company called DoorDash went IPO. And the number of queries that we were getting, that when will the Airbnb stock be available on the Stockal platform, and how can I invest? And even though people can't invest in the IPO per se, they can't subscribe to the IPO, but the moment the stock goes live, it's out there for trading. And I think in one day, maybe a couple of crores got invested in Airbnb, even at a price which was Airbnb was, it listed at 68, and I think it went to some 140, 150 when it started trading. People seriously are tracking, and that's really the thing that I think one has to see, that our customers, your customers as well, are already aware to a certain extent and are looking at the US or the global markets. And if they don't find a solution to do this, they may not feel good about it. So and on the other hand, if there is a solution to let them do this, or enable or empower them to invest overseas, then perhaps there will be a lot of takers for a product or a platform or a service which lets them, enables them to do this. And in terms of assets also, I mean, now we are seeing almost 50 to 60 crore rupees every month getting remitted by people just for investing as a purpose within the LRS paradigm. And this is retail investors, people investing $5,000, $10,000, even less sometimes. So there's a significant interest that has become generated in the Indian audience when it comes to investing overseas in the last 1 year. Stockal itself is a multi-asset class platform. We have, we are trying to put together a multi-asset class platform. Let me put it more transparently that way. So borderless investments, invest in ETFs and stocks, invest in portfolios, invest in cash. So like, save money for overseas education, save money for future travel, save money efficiently rather than remitting money at some arbitrary forex rate, when you have to pay the fees for your kids' education and stuff. So sort of a globalization of money, I think, is really the theme that we're trying to pursue here. And we're bringing it down to small ticket sizes, $1,000, $100 even for certain products. People can invest in fractional stocks. So you won't believe it, almost 10% of all holdings on Stockal are actually in one stock, Tesla. people are not buying Tesla the car, but people are investing in Tesla the company, and this is a significant amount of money just invested by Indian people in Tesla the stock. And at the same time, there are lots of young people who are just buying Apple, Google, Tesla, etc., and fractions of the stock. You can invest even 5,000 rupees to buy a fraction of a Google stock, or invest $10,000 or $20,000 to buy a fraction of Berkshire Hathaway. So it's like the ability to do things differently in the global markets is much higher than it is in the Indian market. Skip this. Opening the account and pursuing overseas investments is very straightforward. Like Mr. Ajmera said, again, on Stockal, this is completely digital. There is no offline process for the most part. Online application account opening is like creating an email ID and then creating an Indian brokerage account at best. And that's the most effort that one has to make in that sense. Just a few fields, basic checks on anti-money laundering compliance and stuff. If you're politically exposed, you tell. Nothing out of the ordinary. Scan of your ID and address proofs is all you need. A PAN number, PAN card is obviously required as one of the documents, because RBI needs it at the end of the day. The bank will need your PAN number for remitting money out for you. And that's pretty much all there is to doing the opening of the account and the KYC process. In fact, I think by end of Jan we should have a process in which we'll open the account in like 10 minutes. A global investing account, completely with digital KYC approvals, everything in 10 minutes. Trying to make it faster than it is to open an Indian bank account, actually, or an Indian brokerage account. It's possible with US markets. The second step after your account gets approved, today it takes about 5 hours or 6 hours for the account to get approved, typically. We're bringing this down to 10 minutes, like I said. Once the account gets approved and documentation, etc., is already all right, transferring money into that account is the next logical step. Unlike old times or unlike global players like TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab and stuff, there is no account minimum requirement here. Others, US brokers, whenever they onboard non-US customers, typically have $25,000, $30,000, $15,000 as a minimum requirement when you open an account for global customers. But in our case, you open an account for free, and then you can invest even $100 or 5,000 rupees or whatever you want. So when you're sending money, many banks are now allowing the remittance of money online. We have partnerships with 9 different banks in India, so that logistics is also taken care of. Since we work with HDFC Securities, we also end up working with HDFC Bank, pretty much. So if a lot of people have HDFC Bank accounts, fortunately, in the country, so HDFC does it online, ICICI does it online. I think Kotak is going online as well. So most of the private sector banks, Yes Bank, IDFC, RBL, most of the private sector banks either are already online for this, and we are integrated with them, or they are going online. And whoever is not online also, there also we have relationships with most of the banks. So we help manage the LRS documentation and courier, reverse courier for document pickups and deliveries to the bank and stuff like that. In the mix, we also tend to get better forex rates, than people would on their own. So that advantage is also there, working with us. But the idea at the end of the day is that it's all very straightforward. There is no need to visit a bank, fill a 5-page form, take out time in the day and or do this for your client. It's not. It's just simply digital. It's very it's like writing an email. So the idea is for it to become that straightforward in this process. Once money appears in your brokerage account in the US, it will show up on the Stockol platform that you have. Let's say you sent 10 lakh rupees. So whatever the exchange rate, etc., was, let's say it will show up as $15,000 or something like that in your balance, and you are as good as any American investor investing in America. So just if you're buying Apple, Google, or any other stock, you are doing that. If you're investing in ETFs, like people in India invest in mutual funds. ETFs are the single largest flow products in the US, quite diversified. There is exposure to pretty much everything in the world that one can take through that route. So that is seamlessly available. Just very simple platform. There is insurance built in as well. So it's mandatory in the US, and since we are remitting money to a foreign country in a foreign context, sometimes people tend to think how safe it is, and is it something that I can do or I should do or not, considering I don't know where my money is going to be. So in that sense, SIPC is the insurance protection program that US brokers have to mandatorily sign up for. And this provides $500,000 worth of coverage on the entire holdings that you have, including your cash and your portfolio. So if I am a family of 4 and there are 4 brokerage accounts that I've opened, I will get $2 million worth of coverage, $500,000 on each. Out of $500,000, $250,000 is on the cash balance that I may have in my account, and the remaining $250,000 is available on the my holdings. So at least until that much, one is covered. And given that $250,000 is the LRS limit also per head, as of now, from an Indian perspective, you're covered for at least 2 years if you're fully utilizing this. So a fair amount of insurance also helps when somebody's sending money overseas. Just touching upon LRS, Mr. Ajmera again talked about this. RBI has a very specific scheme under which money goes. Banks are also now aware and educated about this. Last year, when we were trying to initiate relationships with banks, funnily, even most bankers did not, they were not aware that, oh, you can do investments also under LRS. People were like, this is something that people use for sending money for free, fees and maintaining family and stuff like that. It's my investment kahan hota hai. But it's very well defined, and it's fairly straightforward. Last year, about $430 million were remitted for the purpose of investing. I think this year we should see at least $500 million or more remitted just for the purpose of investing. So there is again serious interest among people who are looking to invest overseas in India. Again, we've digitized the entire process. So whichever bank it is, your LRS documentation will be completely digital if Stockal platform is being used. Now, from a partner perspective, what the advantages you will get with Mr. Ajmera's platform, which Stockal is a part of, helps you expand your customer base. Obviously, there are, it brings an attractive new product, adds an attractive new product to your portfolio of products. It helps add new customers as well, in that sense, and especially because I'm hoping, we'll all personalize the advice and what to do, what not to do for each family and each investor that we have. Adds a new stream of revenue. One can price it in various ways. So there's a lot of flexibility that the platform will provide that can be made use of. And it's a robust platform. We've tested this many times over. HDFC is using it, Motilal is using it, Geojit is using it. Many Indian large brokers are using it or are going to use it over the next 3-4 months. So there are thousands of people who are logged in at any point of time and very stable, serving a very large audience already. I don't want to repeat myself, but generally, there are various advantages of partnering, with Ajmera Capital to do this, and Stockal is at the back. So the flexibility that is available from a pricing perspective, for example, here, you can price it per trade. People can pay per trade. People can pay, volume based per trade again. Flat or volume based, both are available. People can invest in AUM based products. So that is also available. Depends upon how you want to model your business, and the platform will fit your business at the end of the day. So the flexibility is there, and the clients can be charged in various manners. So all of this is configurable, and that's how we built it. We've sort of kept our partners in mind and said that, look, ultimately it is your business, your customer, and you know best on how to charge your customer. The tech product should just give you the ability to do what you intend to do in that sense. So that's essentially what I have. The idea was to just take everyone through the process of how. Mr. Ajmera answered why. This was more about how, and how it can be very, very simple. And obviously, we are here to learn as well. So I know it can be made maybe 5-6x more simple from where we are. Why should it not be just a click of 2 buttons and invest and done? Right? Why can't I do UPI overseas? It should be even simpler than this, perhaps. But we are learning and growing, and the overall regulatory ecosystem is also evolving. So I think in the next 6 months, 1 year, it will become even simpler, and that's when the market will really start exploding. So thank you again for having me here. I'm happy to answer questions at the end of the journey of this. Thank you so much.
You have mentioned about the brokerage part and the fees part, but one more question was there. Is there is cryptocurrencies also there on your platform or not?
So not right now. We will add cryptocurrencies over a period of time as well. It's one of the asset classes we are adding.
Yeah, but also like answering this, we have another partner from Europe, whereby you cannot just to keep the legalities, complexities out of away from India. You probably do not wish to make direct investment into the cryptocurrencies. But if you want to make an investment into the cryptocurrency fund, that is available on Ajmera Capital platform. So that is possible and it can be done. Once again, Sitash, thank you very much. It was a very nice and a straightforward presentation. So giving an idea about the how to invest into a New York stock market or US stock market. And this is again, as the Kanakji has mentioned in his chat message, that this is a direct investment, and you are say Sushil Jains or Kanak Jains or Amit Kacharu, you are the holding the share in your own name. It is not being held by somebody else, and then you are just giving the money to them. It's everything is in your name or your client's name, or whoever wants to make an investment. As we have it in Indian market, like we have the regular brokers, stock brokers are there, and they are providing the services of buying and selling into the stocks and bonds and ETFs on the stock markets. And that's what the platform, what we have it from the Sitash about the Stockal. But as we know that in the financial industries, we have another good area of financial advisory and a portfolio management. Because when it comes to the HNI clients or ultra HNI clients, they do not wish to put their money probably into the stocks, but they want to put the money into a mutual fund, as it happened in the Indian market. There is an insurance product is there as well. When we talk about it's an investment we want to make. Now we are talking about the advertisement has started in the TV about the ETF as well. So that's the new product is coming on Indian market. Then we are talking about the real estate REITs is also coming in Indian markets. Plus when it comes to the portfolio management, not only the financial products, but also you want to include the other investment avenues available to you. And that is generally, as we understand, is done by the portfolio managers, which they are SEBI regulated professionals are there, or companies are there who are doing the portfolio management for the clients. So moving one step up, the Kristal is the platform. Again, it's an artificial intelligence based, the platform is there, whereby it gives you an opportunity to an investors that if this is my background, this is my age profile, this is the age of my children, this is what I'm doing it, how should I invest? That's the one big questions every financial professionals or stockbrokers are asking us. We don't know anything about America or Canada or the European countries. How do we invest? And that advisory comes in a two-way. That's also started happening in the Western countries many years back. Now it's happening in India as well. Either you go and talk to a person on a one-to-one basis, and I go to Kanak Jain and ask him, "Sir, kuch tip de do, kaun se share mein paise dale?" That's the one way of doing it, right? And the second one is always now coming up on a platform which has existed in the Western country was an artificial intelligence or probably an advisory. Now with the technology, it has become also possible that not only you can trade, but also you can take an advice. An idea of bringing this advice is to bring the cost of your brokerage and the cost involved into the investment lower. Plus, you manage the whole portfolio in a one account internationally or globally. Another aspect of that one is like if you go to a Citibank, HDFC Bank, I have gone and I have personally taken some of my clients to them. They say, well, we're not going to open an account for you in USA unless you come up with $250,000 or $500,000, big ticket size. They don't do anything less than that. And that is again a big concern. Even if we have seen the investors in India, it's a new doors we are opening. People do not want to jump into immediately that let's go and make a $1 million, $2 million, $5 million investment. We always want to try and test with the smaller ones. So to give these advisory services, and also on the other hand, to make it affordable or make it a lower ticket size, as the Sitashwa Stockal has done it to bring down the $10,000 or $50,000 to $1,000 or $2,000 investment. Similarly, the Kristal brings the advisory, and also at the same time they are bringing the ticket size up to a $50,000 or $100,000 price range or US dollars range, and gives us again a platform where we can invest into the lot of stock markets around the world, have a portfolio for your clients and everything. So I don't know much about it. Now the Himashu will talk about and give an idea about their platform, Kristal.ai, which is artificial intelligence. Himashu, floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Prashantji. So first and foremost, thank you so much, Kanakji, for inviting me over here and allowing us to share, along with Prashantji's Ajmera Capital as part of that effort, our offering in terms of the advised exposure to global investing. I also have a small deck that I will just take this audience through. But a bit of a background, Kristal.ai, we are a headquartered company licensed in Singapore, Hong Kong, and in India, established in 2016. We are essentially an advisory and fund management house. So like Prashantji very clearly said that, we've seen how to now access certain markets, but what we are aiming to do at Kristal is one, certainly look at how advice can be offered on those markets. In the Indian context, we find that the advice also has a very large benefit, of course, as people are getting more comfortable with investing globally. I think the needs.
Himanshu, some noise is coming. Probably your humming is happening or something. Either probably Bluetooth or something is connected. I don't know.
Is it any better?
Yes, it's better now. It's better.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. I hope I wasn't sounding like a Transformer or Darth Vader or Star Wars. Right. So our objective is to basically bring seamless access to multiple products in addition to stocks, ETFs, some of the best performing funds, some of the most niche offerings, right through a single window. There are three things that I recently heard, and I'm going to I use that. I think. KCNP, right? And I believe in one of the previous sessions organized by Kanakji, the concept of knowledge, conviction, and patience was already shared, right? So our objective is very clear. With knowledge comes conviction, and it will take time, yes, to build this business up. So while we are seeing a lot of interest, very similar to Sitash, in terms of Indians wanting to invest globally, either for diversification or, of course, for planning for future expenses, as Mr. Ajmera clearly pointed out, right? We believe the way to doing it, making it far easier, is also where the key lies, right? So just if you'll allow me to share my screen, and I will quickly like to take you through our journey so far, what we do, and how we have tried to make it sensible for our partners by leveraging technology, right? So since 2016, so far, Kristal, which has primarily operated outside of India.
Still there is a noise, Himanshu.
It's not yet good enough. Just one moment. Is this any better?
Is there a noise in the background, like outside the building is happening?
No, it's kind of quiet here. Let me
Or
see.
somebody's not on a mute, not on a.
Maybe if you are holding the mic like this, I think it is still better.
Okay, so let me try that. Okay. Yeah, so just coming back to this, in the last 4 years today, Kristal, mainly outside of India, has close to 25,000 users. We manage about $175 million of AUM. We have, in addition, we advise on over $100 million of advisory on about $1 billion worth of transactions just in 2020 so far. Our model in terms of our distributor partners and our product partners, we have across more than 40 worldwide, mainly in India, from a distribution perspective. And what we have managed to do with our product partners, using, of course, some of the best-in-class providers in terms of access to exchanges and products, right, is build a very comprehensive suite of a curated list of solutions that investors can advise on, and also built out technology that our partners, such as yourselves, can use to leverage that technology. Because ultimately, we see ourselves in India as enablers of our partners, where we are your advisors, and you in turn are distributors and advisors to your clients. It's still a relatively small team. We are about 75 people across the world, 15 in our Singapore office, about 5 in our Hong Kong office. Our CEO Ashish Chanda is based out of Singapore. Our other co-founder Vineet Narasimhan is based out of Bangalore. He's the CTO. And I look after our India business, and I am the CEO as well. Our entire technology is developed in-house. So most of the people in the India office are technology focused. And the overall management team, all coming from varied backgrounds, like myself, either in international banking or in trading, together comprise 120 years of experience across trading, structuring, business development, and risk. Moving on, what we have tried to build out quite simply is aimed more at the high net worth individual, not necessarily the entry level retail individual. So anyone who has the need or the willingness to diversify or start building out a portfolio of maybe $25,000 or more per financial year, right? And effectively providing them a digital, no frills private banking experience. And why do I say that? Ajmera Saab on multiple occasions said that any attempt to work with a private bank like a BNP, a Credit Suisse in India, they are asked in terms of to set up an account in Hong Kong or Singapore is easily upwards of $1 million. In some cases, banks in India are willing to work in for $500,000. But more importantly is what does one get when they put that kind of capital away, and that are forced to kind of do it in one shot, right? What we have successfully managed to do is bring all those offerings in a far easier manner, again with very quick account opening, similar to what Sitash mentioned, right? Leveraging the technology in getting an investment account ready with funds in maybe 48 to 72 hours, and then being able to give access on an advised basis to multiple stocks, ETFs, portfolios, and funds. And funds of a variety of types, not only your classic long, short, or long only equity funds, but including venture capital funds where startup investing can be accessed in a relatively easier fashion, or including putting money in single names like SpaceX or Grab, right? I mean, wouldn't it be fantastic if we all could have bought Tesla when it was still an unlisted company? And that is what we have tried to sort of build through over here. I would like to spend a little bit of time in terms of our technology setup, of course, in terms of how it's accessible to customers who want to use the platform directly, and to our platforms. It's today available through the web, the iOS app, the Android app, right? That's almost a given. The underlying fulfillment, which kind of forms the backbone, is, of course, using international brokers like Interactive and Saxo, who are able to effectively provide access not only to the US developed markets, but across markets in Asia and Europe as well. And while the US market probably accounts for 70% of the activity and exposures that most investors would want, having access to the other markets has certain benefits, especially in the Indian context when you think of taxation, where the Irish version of an ETF, the UCITS, has a much lower withholding tax, for example. While it might be slightly more expensive from a transaction perspective, anyone who is doing those sort of investments will find the UCITS model far easier. Uh, as fund managers, while we have our own fund strategies that we run, we are leveraging the platform, of course, to bring funds that other fund managers are offering out there. They, of course, go through a strong due diligence at our side to ensure that the funds that are coming on that can be discussed or offered to clients meet a certain criteria of risk management of the kind of exposure they offer. And from an Indian context, very similar to, I think, what Stockal would have experienced, the LRS limit and how the facilitation happens is largely unknown even with some of the key banks. Now, while the RBI allows investments online completely or remittances completely up to $25,000 for investment purposes under LRS, for any remittance outside of that, it has to sort of go old school. So there, our attempt has also been to sort of digitize the process, support it with the reverse courier model, and effectively allow the end investor to be able to do all this from the comfort of their home or office. In terms of the advisory, this is where we think that there is a key differentiating factor. Our advisory, of course, is based on or predicated on a model of asset allocation. So we are not providing stock tips. We are not doing necessarily individual stock research. The platform is intended for investors rather than speculators, and investors who are looking to create and preserve wealth outside, right? Um, and in this regard, we have built out our advisory algorithms, which first get into asset allocation, and then within each asset class, will also give a suggestion in terms of what are the underlyings that should be held. Now, whether they have a sector influence or they have a geography influence, right, is what the algo is designed to do. We think of it as a bionic advisory model because our internal advisors are then available to speak with our partners to on very specific client situations also if required in terms of how some of these aspects in the algorithm can actually be changed to meet a particular client profile. So quite logically, right, it's possible that somebody who's looking for diversity and is driven more by returns does not want a classic asset allocation, let's say. In the overseas portfolio, they want it heavily skewed towards equities, right? In which case, the asset allocation suggested by the algorithm may not necessarily be suitable. On the flip side, if it is somebody who's planning for kids' education, they want a very conservative portfolio which gives steady returns but has relatively low capital at risk, in which case, again, the asset allocation sort of changes from the standard. And that's where the bionic advisory comes in. But why is this advisory so important? If you look at this section, right, there is a variety of investment avenues today that Indian investors can access and maybe should access quite easily. So we have, of course, anything that can be transacted on the global exchanges, stocks, ETFs, REITs even, and using the same channel, mutual funds and bonds, right? But the key comes in being able to package them together, and that's where our advisory approach, the algorithmic approach with oversight from an investment committee comes in. So, thoda hero Honda model ho jata hai. I don't want to keep running the algo and figuring out ye kya ETF hai, wo kya ETF hai. There are thematic baskets or managed baskets, very similar to funds that can be created, or some of you may be more familiar with the concept of a small case, for example. So those are obviously available. Then as we get into a slightly heavy lifting sort of arena in terms of hedge funds and VC funds, again, not for every investor, but some investors do have the appetite and they want to get into a hedge fund like of structure, long short in today's investing environment, where a lot of people believe equities are maybe fairly valued or even overvalued depending on sector. They want a hedged strategy. So there are hedge funds that come into the picture. VC funds, we are increasingly seeing more demand for even investors out of India wanting to participate and allocate, 5, 10, 15% of their capital in startups and VCs, and not only domestic, but also the international companies. Typically, these have been available in India from direct manufacturers, but normally at ticket sizes that go into $250,000, $500,000, right? On our platform, we've leveraged our own fund management expertise and license and made it available to investors at $50,000, for example. Structured product, of course, in terms of normal ELNs or fixed coupon notes are there, which we manage ourselves. And one thing that we find most interesting that people have liked and need advice on are some startups and pre-IPOs. So today there are a couple of live sort of offerings on the platform. There is Grab, of course, which is the Ola equivalent of Southeast Asia. There is SpaceX. We've seen the Elon Musk, what he's done with Tesla. SpaceX is one of his other companies that's available. There is a company called Rubrik, which is in data recovery and data management by ex-Google employees. All these available for 25,000 or 50,000 ticket sizes, and hence making it possible to spread your risk across, even on single asset names if one doesn't want to do a fund. Of course, in terms of onboarding, the swiftness that is, definitely a need comes through connecting directly with a lot of government databases like CKYC and KRA we have in India. And all sort of client agreements are done online using electronic signatures via DocuSign or maybe even Aadhaar-based signatures in the future once that stabilizes. Money flow again is quite simple through the LRS process, so I won't spend much time on that. I think Sitash has also covered it extremely well, right? I do want to spend a little bit of time on the algorithm because this does form the basis of how advice is shared with clients either directly or even through our partner network. Very simply, the algo looks at multiple inputs. It looks at market data, past performance, correlation numbers. It then overlays it with the investor objective and risk profile. And we have certain inputs from our investment committee. When these things go into the picture, they essentially, the algo is trying to optimize the return for a predetermined risk profile and investment objective on predetermined volatility measures. So you can imagine that somebody wants to put in $25,000. पहले the algo will see कि अच्छा $25,000 में क्या-क्या खरीद सकते हैं without giving too much concentration risk. उसके बाद बोलेगा अच्छा इसमें correlation effect कितना है, जो highly correlated है उसको हटा दो, और जो बचता है various clusters of asset allocation में pick out the best of the lot, right, and present that. And within a minute or less, what you have in front of you is a choice of anywhere between 4 to 7 ETFs that can be invested, telling you exactly kitne mein kitna dalna hai, how many units, right? And the best part of this is because we base it on ETFs, it is not biased towards our own funds. The human advisory element then comes into, say, fixed income internationally ज़्यादा नहीं मिलता, आधा 1% dollar terms में let's say मिलता है on government risk. So there are alternates one can consider to something like that. Of course, in partners, in terms of what their clients, what your clients would see, white labeling solutions are important and are available, right, in terms of their interfaces. So we have basically two portals. One is a client portal, जहाँ client सब देख सकता है क्या portfolio है, they can click and trade if they want. Otherwise, it is also a click and brick model for certain products, right? And those can be white labeled. And I will like to just spend some time a little more on our partner portal But before that, the partner portal is essentially, aimed at bringing out the Iron Man in all of us, right, by using this technology. So it is a comprehensive CRM, client relationship management portal, जिसमें right from opening the client's profile, creating their account, which the client spends maybe 2 or 3 minutes validating, accepting all the agreements, can be done, looking at all the account activity, कितना पैसा आया है, कितना withdraw किया है, what are the transactions that have happened, running the advisory, all that is possible, right? But one of the most important parts that we feel in India, and we do spend a lot of time and effort, is in while we have different engagement models, of course, with our partners who may be advisors or distributors, right, is making they feel comfortable with what is on the platform. Unless our partners feel comfortable with, sorry, there is some background coming through some kids in the adjoining building. I do apologize for that. But Saturday hai.
Yeah, that's the continuous noise coming, Himashu bhai. I think kids, that's what I asked you, that kids are giving the noise. Anyway,
sorry about
please continue with this one. Let's finish and then we start taking the question and answer.
Sure. So, of course, in terms of partner education, that is very key. So, we do constant webinars on overall markets, global investing, market intelligence, certainly on products, collaterals, user guides are all available, right, to help discussions with clients as well. And in cases where our partners want us to be part of the conversation, we are happy to join them in those conversations, but we much rather have partners lead with the conversations. So this is not a model where I am acquiring your customer and I'm going to manage it. This is mainly a model where I am here to empower you and enable you with my technology, right, to make this happen. This is just a quick snapshot of the team, and information is available on our website as well. But like I said, I would just like to take a few minutes to give you a snapshot of what we have in terms of our partner portal. The partner portal is, of course, like I said, a completely integrated CRM management tool, which is again available on the web and in the app version. आप client को कहीं चाय कॉफी के लिए मिल रहे हो or you're meeting them at home, seamless onboarding and KYC. You can set your favorite users. You can look at your individual level relationships. If you are a slightly larger organization और आपके पास और 2-3 लोग हैं, you can sort of get the overall view of how that happens. You can create follow-up tasks. Client बोलता है बढ़िया है, 2 हफ्ते में बात करते हैं, थोड़ा liquidity आ जाएगा. Follow-up के लिए आप अपने लिए portal itself में you can put a reminder, right? You have an initial conversation, you want to create a lead, get back to it maybe 3 months later. Anything that you would normally expect from a sensible client management tool, right from your first initial conversation to getting the client started, right? It will take you 2 minutes to create a client profile. You need their name, email, phone number. You need to know उनको private wealth segment में है, basic risk profile in terms of existing customers, number of dependents, investment history, have they taken a loan for their house, very basic things that as distributors and advisors to clients we all would know, right? And of course the client has to validate this information. So even if some of it is missing or maybe a little bit more conservative, the client has the opportunity to change it when they validate the account. And once the client does that, it comes back to our compliance team for KYC AML, and the account gets opened, including the investment advisory account. The details in terms of paisa kahan bhejna hai gets done, and all the forms, paperwork, etc. is pre-filled, provided to clients. And like I said, while we have tie-ups with some banks, with the others we are getting into more tie-ups for those who are wanting to send more than $25,000. Of course, in that segment, a lot of the clients have their own private banking relationships, and they have their own RMs and runners, but where that support is needed, it is provided by the company. there is an integrated client communication tool. There is something new you want to share with them, market update, किसी company का earnings report आया है, all that information is made available to you. You can send it in a very easy way to all your clients. So it is all in all a completely comprehensive solution where multiple analytics, what is my client looking at? Has my client run the algo? Has my client shown an interest in Grab? Because there are some things that the clients can of course click and trade. In some cases, when they click and trade, you will get notified that client ne SpaceX mein interest dikhaya hai. Okay, let's speak to them, make sure they understand what it is all about, and then get into a conversation with them. Or there's a particular fund or a mutual fund that they have, like, let's look at it, right? You can of course run the risk if you want, but our advisory team is there to assist you with that. Of course, it can be through SIPs, one-time investments, all those basic things are there, including placing orders for clients. So it can be a completely easy, seamless way to manage the entire client relationship. And of course, in India, we are here to make that journey still easier and provide our knowledge, comfort, and technology to our partners to make that happen. So with that, I will end my presentation, and I do apologize for the background noise. Thank you again, everyone, for your time and attention.
Thank you, Himashu. Yes, sir. It was gives everybody an idea that how this platform works. It's a two different concept which we tried to bring it in. I think one of the questions which was asked, the last one, is how do we get associated? Obviously, we are bringing the completely a new concept to the mutual fund distributors, professionals like yourself, that how do we bring it? So basically, depending on your clients, what backgrounds and what kind of composition you have it of the clients, it could be a possible that you have an individual clients, and first you want to look at it that what kind of financial planning they should do it if they are not very clear. So it brings into the various aspect into it where we can do an initial advisory for them only as a Ajmera Capital or Ajmera Law Group, whereby the children's education, what are their plans, what they are doing it, how they are doing it, and on that basis. If they are already clear about that one, and you have a client who comes and says that, okay, you know what, I want to put $10,000 in the New York Stock Exchange, you can go to the get connected with us, sign an MOU with Ajmera Capital, and once you sign an MOU, your clients, on behalf of your clients, the account can be opened up, and whether it can go to the Stockal platforms or whether it can go to the Kristal platform, whatever they want to do it, it can be done. Direct investment can be done as well. If you have a huge client base, as the Sitash mentions and also the Himashu mentions, you want to have your own platforms or own websites and own portal, like as we have created for Ajmera Capital, that can be created as well. But to start with, I think you want to look at it. Obviously, you want to try and test it, how the market will work, how the people are responding it. This is how we have been working with the number of financial planners, even chartered accountants, even the lawyers are also referring client to us, that they do not have the whole knowledge, but they know that they have a client who is interested in their children's education. That's the first aspect which comes to. And the second one is an investment aspect, that they probably already very wealthy. They do not worry about the children's education. They want their children to study here, but it comes to an investment. But these are the individual client coming to us. You can come to us, Ajmera Capital, sign an MOU with us. The sharing would be decided. And once it's done, in the name of your clients, the account would be open up and the process will start. So this is how the mutual fund distributors can connected with us and taken advantage of these platforms. Even like telling one more thing, bringing the knowledge to the Indian financial market. Myself, that Ajmera Capital, Ajmera Law Group, the Stockal, Kristals, and there is another company which is there in a global SIP, are putting together a forum or an associations, which is a forum for the overseas investment awareness. Probably in the next January, we're going to launch that one. And the idea would be to give exclusive knowledge sharing with the Indian financial professionals, advisors, chartered accountants, that if you want to invest abroad, then what kind of knowledge you have it, what you should know about it. And obviously we will bring the further knowledge into that one, because a lot of knowledge is required, and you know that it's a big ocean. Even within India, with one market, we are struggling, and we are trying to get the knowledge by having a continuing knowledge and education. Now, what is going to happen when we talk about the several market of the world, several economy of the world, what is happening in America, what is happening in London or in European market, and it requires a lot of interest as well. I mean, a lot of knowledge sharing as well, and that's what we're going to do, that one. So just answering that questions. Now, Kanakji, floor is yours. If you have any questions, anybody wants to raise it, we'll be more than happy to answer. Unmute yourself, Kanakji.
Questions are there, you can ask. Otherwise, thank you very much for your presence. Just a second. Thank you, Prashantji, for your presence.
Thank you.
This whole program. Sitashwa, Srivastava, thank you so much for your presence. I will be sharing the certificate.
Thank you so much.
Himashu ji, for your presence. So thank you so much. I think Mr. Gulgulia has raised a hand. So yes, over to you, Mr. Gulgulia.
I have one or two questions. What are the kind of charges? Suppose in India, you are charging for say DMAT and all those things, and what are the kind of charges you charge for all those services? And second thing is, what is the implication of tax? Because suppose we are investing in USA, there are some DTA. Then in some other country there may not be any DTA. So what are the implications of those income taxation?
Right. Do you want to answer, Sitash or Himanshu?
Sure. I mean, since the backend is powered by Stockal, I can talk about. There are various ways, Mr. Gulgulia. There are AUM products. I'm sure with Kristal also that there is a, customers can pay or investors can pay based on the amount they have invested. 0.5%, 1%, 1.5%, depending upon the products that they are investing in. Direct investing is available on, let's say, a 50 basis points, 0.5%, 0.25% kind of model. It's also available based on flat brokerage fee models where $2 per trade, $1 per trade kind of models are available. There is also the provision of subscription accounts where people can have annual subscriptions like Netflix or Amazon Prime, basically. Anywhere between say 600 rupees a month or let's say 3,000, 4,000 rupees a year to 10, 15,000 rupees a year. It's all configurable. Whatever is suitable to the advisor, that can be configured in the platform. So there are both these models. You can subscribe, you can pay flat fee per trade, you can pay AUM based fees on AUM based products. All are possible. The pricing is at the end of the day. These are all frameworks for pricing. At the end of the day, it is about the advisor and what the advisor feels that the customer will pay in terms of amount, right? So we can configure that on the platform.
There was a slide also on this actually, which shared about all the brokerage and the fees and everything part. It is just like more or less whatever is run in India, I think. So
yeah, very similar to India. Very similar to India. No difference.
And taxation, I think it is the maximum rates. It will be taxed as it is in India. I think whatever is tax applicability is for the debt fund, that is applicable as far as equity investment in the foreign country is also there.
That's correct. There are some rules around short-term, long-term, but there's no indexation benefit, for example. Of course, the fund route does make things a little more tax efficient depending on what one is looking to do. I hope that answers your question.
The another question was about the taxation. So when it comes to the taxations, the Indian government has signed a double taxation treaties with almost 193 countries in the world. And that taxation treaties is in most of the developed countries, which we are talking about, America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, European countries, it's an identical treaties. Whereby how the double taxation things works, it's something like this one. We'll give you in a very simple way to explain it. Say, for example, you made an investment into America in a stock. So you are expecting two types of income, whether it's going to be a short-term or a long-term capital gain when you sell it, and other one is a dividend, right? When you are receiving a dividend and you have to show in your books of accounts here that this is the investment you have made into the foreign countries. Now, if your broker has taken a TDS or deducted a tax, that you have to show it to your in your income tax return, and you will get a credit for that one. You are never being taxed two times. That's I said in my presentation as well, that you are never been taxed, and now that system is also available with the Indian tax department online. So you can ask for your credit online with your taxation as well, because if they are making a taxation in India, everything online, this tax credit is also available online. Not only that, if you go to the Indian government tax department website, every countries, 193 countries complete double taxation treaties is available. Many of you are also chartered accountants. If you go to your chartered accountants association websites, recently just last month they have published a whole manual on foreign investment, and in that one in the index or annexures they have given a detail that if you are making an investment into a particular country, what rate you will be paying there, what would be the tax there, and how you can get a credit on that one. So it is very clear and a transparent way of doing it. Obviously, if you are doing through the banking way and transactions you are doing it, it would be all, you will get a credit for that one. That's not a problem. The another questions which came was about the 2,500. No, it is not 2,500. It is 2,50,000. $2.5 lakh per year per person can transfer. So if you are a family of husband, wife, and 2 children, you can make an investment up to $1 million. या तो $10 lakh आप लिखते हैं. So जो LRS requirement जो है वो $2.5 lakh है per year per person. So that is the limit. Now the other question is, can NRI who are temporarily abroad, can they invest? Yes, NRI can make an investment, because it's the Indian government who is stopping us from making an investment and taking the money out of India. But say for example, if I'm working in Dubai, and in Dubai this market is thriving, there are number of portals are there and number of financial advisors are there who are making an investment into America in all these stock markets on a daily basis. On a daily basis they are doing it. So the restriction is not from the American side, the restriction is from the Indian government side when it comes to the remittance of the fund. So whether you are an NRI, temporary NRI, that means holding an Indian passport and making an investment into the US stock market is definitely allowed.
Hello. Sorry, if I could just add to that, Prashantji can vouch for it. We on Kristal have clients from across 28 nationalities, everyone but US persons. So again, I would encourage all of you to please connect with Prashantji on understanding how better this can be done for your clients, irrespective of where they are.
Yes, actually somebody has asked me about the link. If you go to our website Ajmera Capital and go under the knowledge, there is a first link is given on India is there, and on that one I have given a link about the taxation aspect of it as well. Even there is a link about the RBI is there as well, Reserve Bank of India, where they have created the FAQ on the foreign remittance, what you can invest and what you cannot do. That one is also there as well. So that link is directly there from the Ajmera Capital. Go to the knowledge page and the link is there. If you don't have it, put the message in one of the group which Kanakji has created, and I'll be more than happy to share with you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Prashantji, if you can share the WhatsApp group link in the chat box so that or anyone can actually share. Mr. Daruwala or Upender, anyone.
Sir, my question is, if somebody wants to remit some amount to their daughters in America or something, can they do it through this or?
No, you have to go to the bank. See, ultimately at the end of the day, sir, the only authorized dealer, that means the banks are the one who is allowed to transfer the money, right? or you can go to a foreign exchange dealers, like when we are traveling, जब हम बाहर जाते हैं, घूमने के लिए जाते हैं, और मनी एक्सचेंजर के पास जो मनी एक्सचेंज करवाते हैं तो उनके पास जाते हैं. So अगर कोई बीमार है और उसको आपको पैसा ट्रांसफर करना है, तो you have to go to your local bank. You will not be in a position to transfer the money just like that. अगर वहां पे कोई बिल है और वो बिल का अगर आपको पेमेंट करना है, तो वो मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट के लिए स्पेशल प्रोविजन दिया हुआ है और उसमें आप पैसा ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. या तो फिर आपका कोई रिश्तेदार है वहां पे, who is a blood relation, then you can transfer the money by way of a gift. But it would be the bank only who can do it. Or if you go to the foreign exchange dealer, then they will take you to the bank and do the transfer.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, any other question? Upinder, you have some question?
Yeah, good evening, Prashant ji. It was a fantastic presentation by both you, Srivastava ji, and also the other person. I have one question that there are people who go on temporary visas or like 3 years, 5 years, they are abroad. Can they use this platform? First question. Sure. Second was, if there is, apart from US and Canada, we have clients who are NRIs and who have PRs of countries like South Africa, European, some of the nations. Can they use this platform? And also, can this platform be used by foreign nationals to invest into our country or any other country?
Right. Okay. Answering your first questions, yes, it can be used by the people who have gone on a temporary basis. Say they have gone to Dubai or they have gone to the South Africa. So again, person is holding an Indian passport, right?
Yes.
Right. So if person is holding an Indian passport, what the FEMA rule says, the rule number 1 of section 6A, is that if whatever you have earned in foreign country, and if you are making that investment, whether in any kind of an asset, including this stock markets, we have nothing to do with that. The Indian government has no objection to it.
Okay.
So that person can make a direct investment into it. Not only that, say for example, after 3 years, this person is coming back to India, right? And now he is permanently here. Under the new FEMA rules, also it allows you to keep your assets outside India in foreign currency as long as you want. Like I give you one example of the CEO of one of the bank who is my client, and he worked for a Standard Chartered bank in Singapore about 12 years back. He understood this concept. He kept his salary of saving of almost $146,000 in Singapore in a US dollar account. That I will need this money for my children's education. Then he kept it there. So that is also allowed. The only thing is that when this person is filing his income tax return in India, when he is back, he has to mention that these are my assets out of India. There's not going to be any taxation immediately on that one, but as and when he sells it, and if there is if he's making a capital gain out of that one, then it would be a subject to taxation.
Okay, one question, Ajmera ji, like no, you have mentioned earlier, long time back, that when somebody is investing into a property, let's say an European country or something, if he's buying a property there, he has a right to become, there is a provision that they get a citizenship in many of the countries. So investing into stock market through, let's say, Stockal's platform or something like that, if you are investing that much of money, is that also applicable to some extent or no? Yes, no?
Yes, certain countries do provide. Yes, certain countries do provide that option as well. Say, for give you an example specifically. Say, for example, if you put £1 million in a US, the government bond in a UK, that will give you a UK residency as well. If you put 1.1 million euro into a Bulgarian government bonds, which is traded on the stock market as well, that will give you a Bulgarian citizenship within a period of 1 year time. That means you do not need to stay there, you do not need to start a business there, but now you have become a European citizen. Once you are a European citizen, you have an access to 27 countries in the world for number of aspects. That means in the 27 countries, you can travel without any problem. Number 1. Number 2, Your children can study and work in any of these 27 countries as you like. Number three, if you are doing a business in an import-export business or any kind of a business, it gives you an access to do and set up a business anywhere in these 27 countries. So when people are taking these residencies or citizenship in these countries, who wants to go and stay in Bulgaria? Okay, probably not. Everybody wants to go and stay in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles. But if you are, say, for example, an exporter in Calcutta and you are exporting jute, and now you want to set up your office in somewhere in Europe because your client base is in Europe. Well, the Chinese, Taiwanese, Korean businessmen are setting up their business by taking a citizenship in this country, and you trying to export from sitting in India. How are you going to compete with that? So that's the exporters of India can use this strategy as well. Also, in European countries, now a lot of students from India are going and studying in European countries because education is cheap. Then America and Canada because it's heavily funded by the government. But when it comes to the funding, the immigration or residency after your education of your child is very difficult. So that's where we advise to the parents that why don't you put certain monies into Portugal, Spain, Greece, Bulgaria, Latvia. By buying a real estate, it will give you not only a free education for your children, but also a right and stay in these European countries, in 27 countries, what you like it. So you are buying them a residency by investing into the real estate, and that real estate, after 3 years or 5 years, depending on the country's rules and regulations, you can take it out. So that is also possible. It can be done. Number of countries are doing this combination of asset class. That means you invest into a business or you invest into a real estate, you invest into the financial product and obtain the residency of that country as well if you want to do that one. So yes, it is possible.
That was really nice. Thank you so much. I think this needs a lot of more learning and as far as understanding is concerned. Moving further, friends, again, a big thank you to all of you on behalf of all the MFD associations across India. 27 associations are actually associated along with Business Line and Tatwa Talk. And I'll just share that next week, I just wrote something which is not there. There is there will be the next week we are having a very special session which is about asset allocation, and we will be launching a new game called asset allocation volatility game with quite a number of industry stalwarts from various asset management companies will be attending. And the second part is financial wellness for corporates. So we are inviting some very big HRs of various companies. Okay, some of the top 5 corporates, their HRs will be coming and they will be sharing why they are organizing financial wellness programs for their employees. So this is going to be really nice next week. So next week, be tuned on the same channel, same time, and look forward to have you all there with the